Hello, I wanted to do a last remark. As it relates, I was talking about the fact that in both episodes, the ghost and there was a covenant doing magical, like witchcraft, over these men while they were sleeping. And at the time I was doing my recent consecration, that I was doing my prayer in, I was reading the book Deliverance from Demonic Covenants and Curses by Reverend James A. Solomon. This book talks about potential bloodline curses that root with blood covenants, land covenants, covenants that were done through witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo. He goes into African magic, all kinds of stuff. And he talks about all of these things. And in talking about all of these things, I only read the introduction in the first two chapters of the book. When I tell you, I know that the book is powerful because even in the amount of time that I was reading the book, I felt something was going on within me while I was reading it because I got an instant headache. When you get a headache, it's a sign of deliverance. It does not mean that you're under witchcraft. It means that whatever is underneath the surface that needs to come up is coming up. I only read the first two chapters. That book is 22 chapters long. Okay? So when I get a chance, I'm going to see if I can try to get the whole book. But I was already getting a headache just off of 3 chapters. So those of you that need severe deliverance, it would behoove you to read the book. Anybody that doesn't know what kind of bloodline curses, especially depending on what kind of family lineage that operated in certain types of magics, you might want to become delivered from that. You may want to read this book. But I'm going to tell you, everything in you is going to probably tell you, I don't want to finish this book. I don't want to, as soon as you start to feel the effect of reading it, what effects that's going to have on you, don't get alarmed. You're going through deliverance. Deliverance can come in a lot of different ways. Headache's one, because you bring certain things to the surface. You can flush things out of your system. There are some people that get 60-day stomach, and it comes out that way. It could come out either way, up or down. I remember one time when I was going through deliverance a few years ago, I thank God for God listening, that I went to a deliverance service. The pastor prayed over me within 24 hours of me going to that deliverance service. It was a Friday night deliverance service. Saturday, I went out. Came back Saturday evening. I felt sick to my stomach. I mean, serious. I knew something was about to happen. I was like, God, if you love me, don't. Where I was, I could not afford to be sick like that. So I said to the Lord, flush it through my system, meaning take it the other way. And he did. And I tell you, I had to go through that for the next 24 to 48 hours. It wasn't fun. So I'm glad it didn't go the other way instead of going the way that I told the Lord, please send it that way. And it flushed out my system. And when I tell you, the second day, they had to rush me to the ER because where I was staying, I could not go through that continually without them being alarmed. So they called the ambulance for me. And when the paramedics came to get, this is how I knew it was deliverance. When paramedics came to get me, I had been taking Pepto. Now, Pepto-Bismol, it will give you green stool and all that kind of stuff. When the paramedic looked in my mouth and saw that my mouth had turned black, he said, I don't know where that came from, but Pepto-Bismol does not do that. I was going through deliverance. I did not know I was going through deliverance until the process was completed. And I realized that by, I went Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, by Tuesday, it started to flush out completely because I had the resolution to the situation and it was complete. But I was going through a level of, it was an uncomfortable experience, and it lasted from about Saturday through Monday. It was a 3-day experience. I came out on the other side of it. By Tuesday evening, I was starting to get better. So you got to go through the process. I've seen people, they go through it for 5, 7 days, 10 days. It's all up to the person how they allow the deliverance to transpire through them. But you're going to go through levels of deliverance. And when it comes down to a book like this, I don't know how it's going to affect you, because I don't know what you need to be delivered from. But whatever it is, I suggest that you read the book. And if you are a strong warrior, that the most amount of resistance that you're going to get is desiring to pick up the book and read through it. And as you start to feel your body start to go through deliverance, allow it. Okay? So process through it, allow it to complete itself. But know that it has to happen the way that it needs to happen, and it must run its course. Okay? So I hope this blesses you. Remember to go forth and read the book. It's called, you can get it on Kindle, but you got to do it by computer, because the way Kindle operates now, you can't go on the app and buy books anymore. You have to buy it through the computer, and then it'll process onto your app, what have you. So I downloaded a sample of the book, and I was able to read the first 3 chapters throughout that experience. And warfare's been stupid. But the name of the book, Deliverance from Demonic Covenants and Curses, by Reverend James A. Solomon. Okay? I believe it's Pastor James A. Solomon. But yeah, read it, go through it. If you get it on Kindle, you can highlight it and drop it into Speechify, and it will read the book back to you if you're having trouble reading it. So you can sit there and listen to it if you have trouble reading it. But you're going to go through some stuff in your body while you are listening to this, because you're going to begin to, you may not be being delivered for something that you did. You may be being delivered for something your daddy, mama, grandma, great-grandma, great-great-grandma did. It's on your bloodline, so you're going to feel it. So go through the process, allow it to deliver you, come out of alignment and agreement with anything that the Lord brings up in the experience. I suggest you go on a 3-day sabbatical with the Lord. No food, no water. Maybe juice, if the Lord allows that. But allow yourself to breathe through it, throughout that experience, and let it process you. Because you will be processed. And if you can do it in isolation, bully to you, because if you around people and you try to read this book, every demon that is in them is going to come up. I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to come up, because you're going through it, and the spirits on them, especially if the spirits on them are associated with the bloodline curse you trying to break. I pray for you. I do. And on top of that, I forgot to mention at the end of the last video, that, and I said it in one of the previous ones, but the best thing you can do for your God ordained spouse is pray for them. Pray for them. Because the last scene in the episode I was looking at last night, the marquee on the movie theater said, "Pray for me." Pray for them. Pray for them. So, this was my last point. I hope this blessed you. Until next time, bye bye.